Hi, this is where I get excited about sharing with you what's been happening over the last 2 years on council in terms of changes that I brought and initiated. The first really major change was to use modern technology, to use and to introduce Basecamp as a IT platform for collaboration, so that council could have a online presence to record and discuss and to timeline these discussions, to upload their documents to, and to basically build a historical platform of how we get where we get in a very healthy way. So in the beginning, this was purely council that we had. But as HPCA role, I then introduced an area on Basecamp that was ring fenced, so it wasn't available for everyone to on council to involve themselves. It was simply set up for all the different TCM organisations to collaborate regarding the HPCA. So this meant that not only were the other organisations involved, but areas set up for college involvement, for both the colleges and for ministry. So here we have an area of collaboration. Now the learning curve for this took a little while. Probably the first 6 months it was very quiet space, but I can say that now it is very robust and that it is owned by the groups that utilise it and are working and collaborating together. It is not an Acupuncture New Zealand dominated space, and that is a really healthy way for a profession to move forward. So with the HPCA, that's true. We need to move forward and we need to work as one. We need to learn how to build bridges between the organisations and the members to position ourselves in the most powerful position that we can. So that collaboration is going on, and currently we are working on bringing all the different options, outlining all the different options that are presently available to us, and to bring those back to the membership to make informed decisions. Okay, so that's the HPCA area. So council has their area, the HPCA have their area, and then we developed a Christchurch area, and this was involved as a response area to the Christchurch mosque shooting. So in this situation, practitioners were very, very keen to respond to the tragedy in ways that they have responded in the past to the earthquake tragedies. So to provide drop-in clinics and to work together towards that. It was soon identified that with this community that this was a very different situation and that we needed to approach it in a different way. Basecamp allowed us to be able to collaborate on that, and we identified that we were needing specific training in cultural competency. So I began to explore this with the DHB and with Pegasus, and contacted the Waitemata DHB in the program eCold, which will come out in newsletters to you all, to have us included on the DHB database under primary providers. So Acupuncture New Zealand is now on a DHB database as a primary provider. And that's a new thing. It's significant. So what that has meant is that all our members have been able to access, training provided within their communities or individually online for cultural competency specific to migrant and refugee cultural issues. And this is a really wonderful resource. Absolutely fantastic trainers, really, really skilled, and how you access that and get your free CBD, I will explain later in newsletters. So we organised to have the training, and it seemed to me that it was a little bit more useful, more appropriate to invite and include the NZASA members in Christchurch who are also involved in delivering services to this community to join us for the cultural competency. And so I registered, I spoke, discussed with NZASA to include them. So as I registered our members, I also registered any NZASA members, looking to the fact that in the future we will all be working together under a regulatory system. So building bridges is really important, and this was a wonderful way to spend time together and get to know each other better. So having done the cultural competency training, we also looked at how this program could be set up in a way that was sustainable, practical, and purposeful. And looking that this group of people had wrapped around services of migrant workers and support workers and immigration support workers, doctors and nurses currently as trusted providers. So it's really important that we build bridges with those providers as well. So this program that we set up has several layers. First of all, we established that practitioners needed to work from their own environments. Their clinics are meet all the health and safety regulations. Important that this vulnerable community have all records to be safely recorded, and so kindly donated a platform for us to use as a clinic that all practitioners in this project can access, and that all notes are kept on that one database. So important for collecting health statistics, and so important for groups where there is a possibility that that these may in fact end up in courts or arbitration at some stage. So our note keeping is exceptionally important in this instance. So in all instances, but particularly in this instance. So we have a cyber clinic, and we set up a website called acupuncture-response.org.nz. And on this, we have set up a one-stop book-in, very, very simple situation with map identifies where all the practitioners are and their availabilities and ability to book straight in. So we went back to the Pegasus and the DHB, and they were very excited. They're very excited about what we have to offer. They're very excited now that we are on their DHB database. This means that they can argue much more effectively of our involvement, and they wish to do so. So we're scheduled to have meetings with them and to meet with each of the mental health teams and migrant and resource teams to introduce the platform and the resources to give to them to take into their communities and to share. So there is a process of building bridges that's going on that then begets more involvement and more interaction and collaboration within the communities. Now, also from this, the DHB, or the Pegasus group, identified that there are gaps to services for refugees as a whole, the new refugees coming into New Zealand, and once they leave the refugee centre and are reallocated to different communities, that there are gaps in services. And it was quickly identified that acupuncture could in fact be one of those services that could be made available as a resource to these communities to reduce their trauma, to reduce their anxiety, to improve their digestive systems, etc. So the fact that acupuncture is evidence-based and that it is approved and seen as primary health, and that there is the cultural training, all came together to build a new platform of working together, collaboration. So I just wanted to introduce those as a little way of introducing how we are working towards a greater collaboration, and how exciting a platform like this could be should other communities want to use it in New Zealand, to reduce isolation, to get focused about what is needed in their communities, what they can respond to, how they could use these resources to respond, how they could develop programs of professional supervision within their areas based on these platforms. So this idea of using technology and building bridges and micro projects and interfacing and building those bridges within individual communities based on particular needs of those communities is part of the vision that I see in positioning ourselves prior to the HPCA. I believe that it's really important. When I look at other organisations that have regulated, there are those that were positioned within the dominant health system, and there were those that, like ourselves, were for the majority of the time working outside of the services of the system. I think that it's really important on a long-term basis in our profession, when looking at the experience of Australia and within New Zealand to other professionals, that we position ourselves, that we work really clearly and with mindfulness towards how we can build those bridges and change the circumstances if and when we become regulated professionals. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you participate. You've got plenty of opportunity to come and participate more with the platforms, and I hope that you start to consider how you may get involved yourself. Okay, thank you very much. I look forward to hearing from you and seeing you at the AGM. Goodbye.